Good morning and welcome to the preview of the Cox Plate meeting. 10 races, first few races, not much value, but there's a couple of races of a bit of interest later in the day. Obviously the Cox Plate the last. Race 1, not interested in race 1 with all the unraced obviously. Race 2, bit of a raffle, 1,000 metres. 3 turns, probably got a bit of a chance at a price. Vatican's going to be hard to beat, but I think probably 5-2 is probably tight end of the market. Probably too short for me. Of the rest, I think there might be a bit of value with Oamaru, Prince, Free Turn, and Canali. They seem to be the best three at a price. We go to race 3 again. Not a lot of depth in the race. The favourite probably Richie's Pride, I would think. Richie's Vibe. Been unlucky last start, but that's 2 times now this horse has found trouble at a critical stage, cost itself the race. Wouldn't want to be taking the shorts. If you can get 4-1, I suppose it's not a bad price. Vibrant Rouge was impressive enough winning first up. Wouldn't need to be much improvement to be a part of this. Rich Jack, now this bolted in country meeting, jumped to the front and gave him Winburn coming around the corner, just ran right away from barrier 10, no help, but it's got a chance. Number 8, Such Hope, it's probably over the odds at 20-1. Wouldn't be dismissing it from the good draw. Probably the 4 main chances, or 5 main chances, will be 8, 4, 6, 13 and 5. Race 4, don't like the race at all. 2,000 metre race. I suppose if at a price, Whisper Downs is 15-20-1, I'm happy to give it a little bit of a go at that price. Forget about its last run. He just dragged it back to last and just rode it quiet. Had no hope on the slow tempo to make any ground, so I think it can improve in this at a price. Number 5, Haverstan, barrier 13, no help. Track work's been good since its last run, so it could improve. Opinion will be well in the market, one of Waller's. It's a race that lacks a great deal of depth. Don't really like the race at all. It's mainly the price that's got me in. Whisper Downs at $21, I think, is over the odds. Race 5, don't like this at all. I wouldn't bet in this race. Got Savvy Nature and Drago, Tips and Beers. Probably the Sydney form's going to hold up a little bit better, but there's no value at all in a race like this. Race 6, another short one coming up here in Not Listening to Me. Probably going to be hard to beat. Certainly not interested at the odds on. I wouldn't be betting in the race anyway, but I suppose the winner comes from 8, 5, 3 and perhaps the 11. We start with race 7, first leg of the quaddie. Now, I don't know whether there's any great value in the quadrella because there's most of the chances are well in the market. I'm always reluctant to be taking quaddies when we're shooting around the first 3 or 4 or 5 in the market in each leg, which at this stage appears the most likely scenario. If that's the case, we probably won't play the quaddie. Shoreham's going to be hard to beat. This is its right range. Wouldn't want to be taken too short a price, but at probably around 5 or 6-1, it's probably the right price. The 10 Mujadal, interesting run at this one. This is not beyond it. Obviously, it's a fairly decent rise in class here, but most of these are no good anyway. So, got to take care. They're going to run here instead of the 3,000 metre race on the Friday, so you've got to respect that. It'll be grinding home, and this is its track, so runs all its best races here. Sneaker Peak, good run in Sydney. The Sydney form's holding up very, very well in Melbourne, so it's definitely a chance. but it's an awful race. We can just about anything could win it. So not a race that I'd ever bet in, but from a value point of view, the 10 Musadale, next best 11 and 9 at a bit of a price. We go to race 8, no depth here at all. There's only 4 or 5 winning chances, and like I said, they're well in the market with very little value. Sacred Falls, speediness, probably Lord of Brazil to a lesser extent than Toy Dini. That looks the race. Maybe Rain Drum if you're looking to add an extra one in, but it's a race completely devoid of any value. And it's almost getting to the point where we just rule out the quaddie now. We go to race 9. This is an interesting race. There's a couple of horses here at a bit of a price. The favourite's probably going to be Lady's Intention. Now, this is ready to win, but I wouldn't want to be taking 7 to 2, 4 to 1. This, its right price is about 7 or 8 to 1. The back marker, drawn barrier 2 with 57 kilos. It's going to be a long way back, giving them a big start. Wouldn't want to be taking that price. Happy to go around it. Epingle's an interesting one. Now, this was travelling really well coming to the corner and just got knocked over. Galloped on and they eased it out. Now, it's worked well since, providing it's come through that slight setback. It's over the odds of 25 to 1. Number 9, Kazanluck. That was a nice even run first up. This is no harder. Must include it. Number 13, Zombie Dancer. This should have just about won in Adelaide. Don't worry about running 5th. That run was much, much better than that. It's over the odds at $21 in a race like this. And of the rest, probably the top weight. So I've got 9 good chances to 9, 13, 5 and 1. Now we get to the Cox Plate. Obviously the track conditions are going to be the key here. This stage, dead 4. If it holds up for the dead 4, I'll be very happy with that. Happy to go around the favourites. Don't like Poisson's Saloon, never have from day one. It was one of the reasons we jumped in early and did all that early betting a couple of months ago when they put this up favourite. It's a done deal. It's had a fairly severe setback. Not sure that want to be taken 4 to 1, something that's had a cracked hoof. So happy to go around it. Fiorente, drawn barrier 14, go back to last. Good enough for me to risk it. It's a race really of sort of no-hopers and some place chances and a couple of good winning chances. There's half a dozen of them that haven't got any hope, shouldn't even be in the race. Put a line straight through. 7 Rekindle Interest, 9 Mars Marble, 10 Mull of Kellogg, 15 Shamus Award, left them out completely. Happy Trails was a good win, and from the barrier won't need to get anywhere near as far back as it did. This is a pretty decent horse, this. 2,000 metres, probably not its optimum, but it has won at this trip. Certainly capable and up against these. This is a long way away from the stellar Cox Plate field. I mean, this is a glorified handicap, really. There's a couple of quality gallopers in it and the rest are fairly mediocre, so it lacks the depth that previous Cox Plates have had. There's no champion in this. Super Cool's over the odds for me. Don't know whether I think if they ride it back, it's got a much better chance. They've gone forward a couple of times, so that's not its go. We need this to be a true staying test because that's what Green Moon's going to do. It's the toughest stayer in the race. I think he'll go back at the start. Ideally, I'd like to see a little bit of speed in the race, which will probably be there. And then he's got a couple of runners in here, Hickmont, so I think we'll be probably seeing something go forward and make sure that this gets a decent run back in the field. I'd like to see him go at the 800 or the 700 at the latest. and just go 3 and 4 wide, stay out of trouble, and it'll be coming. So in the end, I've gone for the 3 at a price: Happy Trail, Super Cool, and Green Moon. I don't like the favourites. Obviously, they can win, but I wouldn't want to be taking 3 to 1, 7 to 2, any of the 3 favourites. Don't like the 3-year-old. It fell in last start after getting an absolute world perfect run. Barrier 10. I don't think it's anywhere near this sort of level. It's a long way away from a Cox Plate type horse. They've included, I'd leave Seville in, Fortella. Side Glance is an interesting one. This has run around against some pretty decent horses in Europe. Don't think he can win the race, but it might fall into a place for us at odds. It looks like this will be the betting race for the day with the pick 4. I think that they'll put a fairly decent jackpot on, so we'll have a go. Finished up 2 on top from 12 Super Cool, 1 Green Moon, 11 It's a Done Deal, 3 Fiorente, and then 6, 8, 4 and 5, and 14. As I say, probably the pick 4's the only bet. Sunday for Hong Kong Group, there's a 6 up and a TT jackpot. We are going to be playing in both. There's no one raced this time, so we've got an opportunity there. And then obviously next week we go to Happy Valley with I think it's jackpotted 3 times now, so there's going to be a fairly decent pool there next Wednesday. Hopefully they don't do anything silly and put unraced in there to rule us out. Good luck if you play tomorrow. As I say, it's an average card, realistically. It's the main race is well below many of the previous Cox Plate fields, but always an interesting race, and I think there's a bit of value there with the 3 that we're going to go for. So if we're right, we've got a chance to get a result. Good luck if you play, and thanks for tuning in, guys.